Right. All right. I think you did last time, Gail, and I'll get us started.
Thank
Um,
you.
all right, so I'll call this meeting of the school building HVAC project committee for Polson in hand to order. It is 8:07. Our first order of business, I think, can we approve the minutes from last time, Gail, or do we need to wait?
No, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay, do
So
I have
I motion that we approve the minutes.
okay, I'll second that. Any edits or comments from anyone? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. So now we're on to new business. Item number 3, Polson AUD electrical power and distribution and HVAC modernization. So who's taking us there?
I'll jump in there.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the contract amendment for BL that we talked about last meeting. We just didn't have the actual agreement in hand, which we do now. So the agreement for BL, it's agreement number 2, additional services agreement number 2. And what this does is it adds in for them to do the design elements for the gym, which is the bleachers, lighting, floors, painting, finishes, that type of thing, to design that. And also for the auditorium, the new ceiling and refurbishing the stage, and again, other finished surfaces in the auditorium. So with the add of those two is $19,800, but also part of this is removing from the scope the electrical distribution panels that don't have anything to do with the project work throughout the whole building. So there is a credit for a credit for not doing that work of $24,710. So the net change to their contract is a credit of $4,910. So it just memorializes that. They're already working on the auditorium and the gym scope, but we wanted to just formalize that for their contract so we could adjust their purchase orders and make sure billing is okay. And I just heard from Jesse. He said he's having a computer issue. He's going to be on as soon as he can, but I could take part of the design update too, unless he gets on the next couple seconds. So I think for this one, I would suggest a motion just to approve the contract amendment, and we could take it from there.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the BL additional services agreement number 2? You're muted, but I'm a good lip reader.
Good. So moved.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you, Ben.
So I'll move in. I'll cover some of the design update for Jesse. So they have started working again on the auditorium and the gym portions. They're also working on construction documents for the HVAC portion of the project. We did a little bit of digging and found that the systems. Let me back up. When they first started designing this HVAC portion of the project, BL at the time really didn't care what was existing because we were overlaying a brand new system on the shell of the building. So it was almost like starting from scratch. Now that we're not doing that, we're starting to pay a little more attention to what the conditions of the building are now. So we found that in in the spaces that are cooled now, in these penthouses that are up on the roof, what is existing in there are these small packaged, they almost look like residential style split system units. They're actually working very well. So what we're going to do as part of this project is basically just swap those out one for one to get another 20, 30 years of life out of them. The last time they were replaced was 1992. And we'll add in some controls and things like that to them. But it actually simplifies the project a great deal. Also from a customer impact standpoint. Now the invasiveness of this project, which we've already significantly reduced the invasiveness, now it's almost no invasion because all the magic happens up on the roof. So I've met with the principal last week and just kind of went through what the committee has been discussing and what we've been discussing here, and some of the impacts to the building or lack thereof. Obviously, she's really excited about that. She asked that. We told her, 2026 is going to be summer 26 is going to be the big push. And I asked about getting into the auditorium and gym spaces early. Apparently they use those spaces a lot in the spring. So instead she offered the tail end of the year. So what we would do is basically start mobilization towards the end of school, really hit it hard in summer of 26, but we could have the auditorium and the gym through the end of 2026 to complete the work there and work on those spaces occupied. So she was really happy about that would basically be their only disruption. So again, that's what BL is working on now. They're making sure that all these units that are up there now are sized adequately, they meet new building code, all that kind of thing. And we also reinvigorated the discussion out in the auditorium and gym. Apparently there were some conversations back in February and March on some of the finishes selection, a lot of the AV and technical design for the auditorium. The principal has re-engaged her team to refresh them on what the ground they've already covered. And then we're going to meet hopefully next week and kind of formalize the decisions that are needed for BL to do their construction documents. So they're still looking at middle of December to have a construction document package. And then I'll let Nick talk about this, but it'll then get passed over to Gilbane. We thought it'd be prudent to do one more kind of construction estimate. We know we have the budget now because we're only doing a little chunk of the project, but we still want to know what we're walking into and hopefully get to a bid scenario in probably February or so for the advanced procurement package. Nick, I don't know if you want to jump in there. I don't have
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to click my mute button there. Yeah, so a couple things there that have been mentioned. Actually works out a lot better to have the auditorium and the gym in the fall as opposed to the spring, because there's abatement work going to happen in the auditorium, which can't happen in the spring while kids are there. Can happen in the summer, and then the balance of the work that happens after the abatement flows into the fall. So it actually works out a lot better. Changes that kind of that approach a little bit. And same for the gym, although I don't think abatement in the gym is really going to be an aspect of that. To Ben's point about the estimate and pre-procurement. So since the majority of the construction work, or a lot of construction work, will be happening over summer of 26, we do want to have that equipment here before then. So the electrical switchgear package, Ben mentioned that we've done away with the distribution panels throughout the building as part of the scope of this job, but new electrical service and main distribution out of the switchgear room is still part of the job. So we want to make sure we have that, and as well as any of the mechanical units. So doing that estimate, to Ben's point, we thought was prudent. If we were going to be buying, several $100,000 worth of equipment up front, it'd be good to have a firm understanding of what we think the cost is going to be. So yeah, we're still targeting a February buyout. We're working through a couple things on our end, schedule-wise, a couple different scenarios as the scope has been refined to try and figure out what we think we need for our own supervisory personnel during the summer of 26, what the level of effort for us will be prior to that, and then after that. So we're probably a week or two away from getting to a point where we can send Ben a sort of a revised proposal, so to speak, that really just covers our labor. The bulk of our cost is the cost for, our project manager, project engineer, superintendent, et cetera. So, as the scope gets defined, or continues to get defined, we'll wrap that up and send that over for review. So that's where we're at right now.
Thanks. And I see Jesse has joined. Jesse, I don't know if you caught the beginning where I was kind of giving an update on what you guys were working on, but if you want to jump in and we could take some questions.
Yeah, sorry for my lateness. I had a comedy of errors with my computer this morning, which is always frustrating. Good. So I just caught the tail end there, Ben, but we're progressing with our design. The mechanical piece of it's probably more than 50% done, and the electrical and architectural pieces kind of follow that a little bit with such a heavy HVAC project. But like Ben said, we're still targeting mid-December for being finished with the design, and we don't see any issue with that. I did catch the piece. We're going to set up a meeting with the principal and other users of the auditorium to go through that piece shortly in the next couple of weeks, we hope, and that'll kind of steer our design for the auditorium. But yeah, we don't see any issues. I think everything's proceeding as we would expect, which is good.
Excellent.
And Jesse, before you jumped on, they approved your contract amendment, so that's solidified now.
Okay, good.
You're $4,900 less richer.
Yes, it really wasn't much of anything. I know that, but it's just paperwork as always.
Yeah.
Questions? we're excited. We're working we got every 2 weeks now, we're meeting up as a team and just, keeping tabs on the design and what we want to do next. And again, I think we've got a pretty decent timeline in place, and a plan for success here.
It sounds like everything's really moving along as scheduled now that this new focus is in place here. That's great. I don't have any questions, Galen.
No.
Appreciate all that you guys are doing.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, that's all. So then it looks like the next item on our agenda is public comment. We do have a couple folks. If anyone wants to speak, and you're on Zoom, you can just raise your hand and you'll be called upon for public comment. I don't see any hands going up for our friends over there. Any closing remarks before we adjourn?
Just thank you, everybody.
Yep, thanks so much. Our next
Thank
meeting
you.
is scheduled the first Tuesday of December. Is that right? Okay. All right, I think we're good.
right.
We'll adjourn. It's 8:18. Nice and quick. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Emily.
Thank
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.